Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos. So, Transfer Daily Show, as always, to keep you up to date with the latest transfer rumours that's currently going on and give you the latest news of what players are linked with Manchester United, of course. So, lots to currently negotiate about, but the first topic of the development I'm going to give you an update on is in regards to Adrian Rabiot from PSG, because he is linked with a move to Manchester United. So, according to a lot of media outlets, and I think this is actually coming from Mundo Deportivo, they are basically saying that Manchester United are emerged as the front runners to currently land PSG's Adrian Rabiot. Now it does say Real Betis have inquired about his services. Obviously, Real Betis would see him as a replacement for Giovanni Lo Celso, because Giovanni Lo Celso is linked with a £53 million move to Tottenham. It also says that Arsenal have expressed their interest in Adrian Rabiot. I think Unai Emery is keen on reuniting with the player, because obviously Adrian Rabiot played under Unai Emery when Unai Emery was at PSG, and I think Adrian Rabiot flourished under Unai Emery's guidance. But there's a number of clubs that have been interested in Adrian Rabiot. Obviously he's coming to an end of his contract with PSG, so obviously Manchester United would be able to get him on the free. We wouldn't have to pay any transfer fee for Adrian Rabiot. Reportedly it says Manchester United have offered him a lucrative contract. I think it did say it could be contracts worth in the region of up to £170,000 a week. I think it also said there is a £10 million signing on fee included, but these are two demands Manchester United of course are willing to meet. So Adrian Rabiot has spent the majority of his career with Paris Saint-Germain. I think he has been at Paris Saint-Germain 8 years if I'm right. About 8 years he has been at Paris Saint-Germain, so he has been a long-serving player. He has won 18 major honours with Paris Saint-Germain, I think, including 5 Ligue 1 titles. I think when Adrian Rabiot was younger, he did have a spell with Manchester City, so he has had experience of playing in Manchester. But quite a few teams have been in there for him. I think, was it earlier on in the month, or was it sometime last month? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was weighing up a move for the player. So Adrian Rabiot would perfectly fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has blatantly made it clear that he wants to sign young players this summer. And obviously Adrian Rabiot would be fantastic. He's 24 years of age, so he has still got a lot of development in him. He is a central midfielder, of course. So do you believe it would be the right solution for Manchester United? And I presume that Ander Herrera is going to PSG. So obviously PSG would see Herrera as the replacement for Adrian Rabiot, and obviously we'd see Adrian Rabiot as the replacement for Ander Herrera. Adrian Rabiot has not played for PSG since December of last year, because obviously he had been withdrawn from the squad, based on his refusal to sign a new contract. So it's definitely imminent that he's going to be leaving PSG, and it could be looking likely he could be coming to Manchester United, could Adrian Rabiot. But like I said, that midfield area is one of the priority areas, of course, where Manchester United do need to strengthen up. And like I said, if Paul Pogba does leave the club and all that, I think we need 3 new additions in that midfield. I also think we need a centre defensive midfielder. That's one of the priority areas where Manchester United needs to strengthen up. And I've said if Paul Pogba leaves, we need 3 new additions in that midfield. So do you think Adrian Rabiot would fit the Manchester United agenda very, very well? To be quite fair, I don't really know much about the player. I think at one point, his move to Barcelona was looking very imminent indeed at one point, but I think based on his demands and his signing on fee, I think it'd put Barcelona off, and then initially Barcelona adopted him out of the race. But recent reports said Arsenal are interested, Real Betis of course are interested, but I think Manchester United are the favourites to currently get the player's signature. So yeah, it would be very, very good for us, because we wouldn't have to pay a transfer fee for him, because obviously he's available on a free transfer. Obviously the only thing we'd have to meet is his salary demands and his current signing on fee he's currently got. And obviously Manchester United are very happy to meet both of their demands, so he could be coming to Manchester United this summer, which is very, very good news. So we have offered him a lucrative contract, and that is very, very good news indeed. And like I said, we're getting a spending spree of around £250 million this summer. But like I said, it's going to be a lot more than £250 million. If we cash in for Pogba, cash in for Lukaku, cash in for De Gea, it'll rise up to around £500 million our spending spree this summer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as you all know, he's working on trying to get the right players to Manchester United who he thinks are good enough to represent Manchester United. He's also working on trying to keep his imperative players at the club. There is actually a good possible chance now that Lukaku and and Pogba, could actually remain at the football club, based on the huge transfer fees that Manchester United, of course, have put on them. So, as I have been, giving you my update about what's going on with Romelu Lukaku, because we do know his move away from Manchester United has been looking very imminent indeed. Obviously, we do know he has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. We do know he's been heavily linked with a move to Inter Milan. And I think, Lukaku is destined to leave Manchester United, and he is destined to make the move to Italy, because obviously Lukaku was talking a lot about, the Serie A a while back, about his dream to play in the Serie A and all that. Obviously, Lukaku's agent had revealed that his future is very, very open. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer told Lukaku that he's surplus to requirements at Manchester United. Reports came out yesterday saying that Manchester United have told him that he can't leave the club. But I think now it's going to be difficult for us, to offload Romelu Lukaku. So it did say the other week that Lukaku, was in Italy, holding negotiations, with Inter Milan's representatives over getting a deal finalised. And it did say an initial deal had been agreed. It did say Inter Milan have reportedly agreed around a 5-year contract for Romelu Lukaku. It also said the terms and that have also been agreed. And I think the 5-year deal is worth up to around 37.5 million across 5 years, and around 7.5 million per year, plus bonuses involved. And it did say Inter Milan were willing to meet his current wage demands, but obviously they haven't come to an agreement on initial fee. So reportedly now Manchester United want around £80 million for Romelu Lukaku, and I think this is a figure that Inter Milan are reluctant, to currently meet. So I think if Inter Milan want to get a deal over the line for him, I think they've got to sacrifice one of their players as part of the deal, to get Lukaku away from Manchester United. So we're on around £80 million. So basically, we're looking to recoup the majority of the money that we did pay for him from Everton a couple of years ago, because we did pay £75 million in from Everton, but actually there were add-ons included in the deal, £15 million add-ons. So initially the deal, it envisioned the deal up to £90 million. So potentially we want to recoup the majority of that, so we want £80 million. Lukaku has still got 3 years left on his contract. I think he's on about £250,000 a week with Manchester United, but he did initially say everything's been agreed, with Inter Milan, obviously, apart from the fee. Obviously, they have been negotiating about the fee. I think Inter Milan are set to appoint Antonio Conte as their new manager. Is it today or sometime? And obviously, Antonio Conte has identified, Romelu Lukaku as his number one target. Obviously, Lucius Bello got sacked from Inter Milan yesterday. So I think Lukaku could actually stay now at Manchester United, but I think we need to get rid of Romelu Lukaku, because obviously he's one of the problematic players. Obviously, I enjoyed a very difficult second season with Manchester United, because obviously we know mainly Rashford has been first choice ahead of him. And Lukaku did well in his first season with the club. He scored 27 goals in all competitions, but he didn't replicate that, of course, in his second season. And now he's 26 years of age. He's still got a hell of a lot of development in him as Lukaku, don't get me wrong. But like I said, his first touch concerns, he's a big game bottler, his link-up play, his footballing ability. I've got strong reservations about that, of course. So now it could be looking possible that he's going to remain at Manchester United, based on the huge transfer fee that we have currently put on him, because I can't see Inter Milan willing to pay £80 million. Initially, I think Inter Milan value him at around £50 million. Well, initially, it was about, to start off with, we wanted around £70 million, and it did say we wanted around £62 million, but now it has gone up to £80 million. So I think now Inter Milan have got to try and offer one of their players as part of the deal, to try and get Lukaku away from Manchester United. So, like I said, Inter Milan, it did say we're willing to offer £30 million, plus Ivan Perisic as part of the deal. But as I did say, I wouldn't, obviously, Manchester United are not willing to go along with this, because obviously Ivan Perisic is no longer a Manchester United target. Obviously, he was a Manchester United target under Jose Mourinho. Well, in fact, he was a long-term target under Jose Mourinho, was Ivan Perisic. Obviously, the main factor reason why we didn't get Perisic under Jose Mourinho, because obviously, Inter Milan were demanding £48 million. We were reluctant to pay up to £48 million. And obviously, either way, if we were interested in Perisic, he isn't going to fit our transfer strategy anyway, because obviously, he's aging up and all that. How old's Perisic now? Is he, 30, 31 years of age? So obviously, he's not in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plan. So obviously, we're not going to be willing to go along with that. I would love Inter Milan's Milan Skriniar as part of the deal, for Lukaku. Whether Inter Milan are going to be willing to go along with this or not, I do not know. Milan Skriniar has been a long-term target for Manchester United, and I do really, really like him. Probably in the market, he's probably worth around 60-70 million pounds. His Milan Skriniar, because he's a very, very good central defender. He's still very, very young. He's 24 years of age, and I think obviously last summer, our priority was to get a centre back in, and there were a number of centre backs on our agenda last summer under Jose Mourinho, and obviously Milan Skriniar of course was one of them. And like I said, I think he's been at Inter Milan a couple of seasons. I think he recently signed a new deal with Inter Milan, so he's under contract with Inter Milan until 2023. And it did say if Man United were willing to let Lukaku go as part of the swap deal, we would demand Inter Milan's Milan Skriniar. So whether Inter Milan are willing to go along with that, I do not know. But probably, obviously, at some point in Milan Skriniar's career, he wants to take his career to the next level. Wants to be playing to the highest level, of course. So I don't think he'll be intending on spending, the rest of his career with Inter Milan, Milan Skriniar. But whether Inter Milan are going to be willing to go along with this or not, I do not know. Also, Icardi has been spoken about. I'd take Icardi, definitely. I'd take Mario Icardi from Inter Milan. I really, really like Icardi, but I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is keen on Mario Icardi. I think he'd be a great adequate replacement for Lukaku. Icardi has been, I think he spent the majority of his career, with Inter Milan. I think he's been in Inter Milan now about 6 years as Icardi. He scored over 100 odd goals. Obviously, the vast majority of his goals have obviously, come at Inter Milan. Icardi is 26 years of age, so he's actually, the same age as Romelu Lukaku, but he's an efficient finisher. He scores loads and loads of goals. He leads the lines really, really well. I have got some reservations about him, when it comes to some of his touches, some of his defensive abilities, do concern me. But apart from that, I think he's a really, really good player. He's actually Inter Milan's 9th highest top goal scorer of all time. He's Mario Icardi. I think he has got a release clause in his deal of around, £100 million or something like that. But, I think, I'd love Icardi as part of the deal, with Romelu Lukaku. But I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is keen on Mario Icardi, so I don't think that's going to, potentially happen. So it's actually now a possibility, that Lukaku could be staying at Man United. Obviously, I'll credit Lukaku, though. His ratio is still very, very good in the Premier League. He has scored a lot of goals in the Premier League, in the years he's been in the Premier League. And his ratio is very, very good. But like I said, he's a big game battler, and I've got a strong reservation about him. And I think we need someone in that front line, that can score goals for Manchester United and all that. Because like I said, Lukaku's not reliable enough. The likes of Martial and Rashford obviously haven't graduated to that level yet. It's going to take them at least a couple of years to emulate to that level. And obviously, Rashford and Martial obviously aren't reliable enough yet to deliver us them goals that we do currently need. But they are still both very, very young. And again, with Paul Pogba, now I think he could be staying there with Manchester United, Paul Pogba, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is doing everything he can, to try and persuade Paul Pogba to stay at the football club, because I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player, Paul Pogba is. Now, obviously, we've put a huge transfer fee on Paul Pogba. This could be the stumbling block, him making his move to Real Madrid, because obviously, it hasn't been fully finalised yet, his move to Real Madrid, because obviously a fee hasn't been initially agreed. So there's a possibility chance that he could be staying at Manchester United, Paul Pogba, even though he does want to leave Manchester United, and his move to Real Madrid has been looking very, very imminent indeed. Obviously, as it came out, was it about 3 days ago, I updated you on, obviously, it was coming out from a lot of Spanish outlets saying, Paul Pogba to Real Madrid is practically a done deal. Paul Pogba has agreed to take a massive pay cut in his annual salary. He did say, his salary is set to be reduced from 13 million to 10 million pounds a year. So obviously he did say his wages were set to drop by around 3 million pounds a year, to make his move to Real Madrid. Because obviously it came out about, 3 weeks ago, saying that the talks had stalled, between Real Madrid and Paul Pogba, based on his 13 million a year wage demands. Because obviously this was, his wage demands did not fit the wage structure of Real Madrid. So it did initially say that Paul Pogba has agreed to take the pay cut to make his move to Real Madrid. But we do know that he has been on Real Madrid's agenda, for quite a while now, as Paul Pogba. Obviously, Zinedine Zidane's got a lot of players on his agenda, and he's emphasising his targets for this summer. But his two main targets, of course, are Paul Pogba and Chelsea's Eden Hazard. I think Eden Hazard to Real Madrid is set to be, finalised next week. So I think they're willing to complete the deal first for Eden Hazard, get that over the line, and then they're going to focus on, of course, getting Paul Pogba. So this came from Eduardo Inda, who's currently a Spanish journalist, and he said, Paul Pogba to Real Madrid, is practically done. I think he did say they were negotiating an initial fee between 137 and 150 million pounds, but obviously Manchester United don't want to sell Paul Pogba. But he did say if we haven't got no choice, we'd probably want in the region of around 160 million pounds. But obviously this is a figure that Real Madrid are not willing to currently meet. But let's be honest, Paul Pogba hasn't really exceeded expectation levels at Manchester United as we all thought he would have done. He hasn't been the fundamental player as we all thought he would have been, because he did have 4 good years in Turin with Juventus, but he hasn't really replicated that form at Manchester United. Obviously, it came out last week, you know, saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was, or was it the week before, saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was willing to offer him the captaincy in a bid to convince him to stay at the club. But I don't think this is going to be enough to convince him to stay at the club. But like I said, I think the fee is going to be a stumbling block in Paul Pogba, you know, making his move to Real Madrid, because I think, you know, we want around £150 million, and I don't see, you know, Real Madrid, you know, willing to pay up to £150 million. And like I said, you know, Paul Pogba's agent Rabiot has been in the process of trying to, you know, get him his move to Real Madrid, at least in the last 6 or 7 weeks now. But, you know, Paul Pogba does want to make the move to Real Madrid, because he was talking a lot about Real Madrid, you know, was it a month or so ago? You know, so he's identified at some point in his career that he does want to play for Real Madrid. So potentially Paul Pogba's still got 3 years left on his contract with Manchester United. I think he did say before Man United had been in negotiations, you know, to try and get him a new contract, of course. And like I said, Manchester United, you know, paid £89 million for him. Like I said, our most expensive signing. And as I did say, you know, it doesn't always guarantee you success, you know, spending big on players, you know, getting them Galactico players, and it doesn't always guarantee you success and get you in that commanding position, of course, where you do want to be. And that just proves it, of course, because Man United have got a history of spending big on players, especially in recent years. You know, prime example, Lukaku, 75 million, you know, Paul Pogba, of course, at £89 million. But I did say anyway, I think in the next couple of seasons, our aspirations is going to be fighting for that top four. And I think, you know, our expectations our expectations for next season, you know, probably will be going for that top four, and maybe winning the Carabao Cup, maybe winning the Europa League. And I think, you know, these are going to be our expectations next season. Obviously, if we don't exceed them expectations, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is under serious pressure indeed. So in regards to Paul Pogba everywhere, I think if we can get rid of him, if we do get rid of him, I think, you know, we'll probably get around maybe 130, maybe 135 million pounds. But I said, you know, with that money, you know, we could potentially, you know, get 2 or 3 players there with that money. But there's still reports saying that, you know, Juventus are interested, you know, in re-signing Paul Pogba. And it did say, was it last week or was it about 4 or 5 days ago, if I can remember rightly? It did say, you know, Juventus were willing to offer Paul Dybala and Alex Sandro as part of the deal, you know, to lure Paul Pogba away from Manchester United. And we do know initially anyway that Paul Dybala has been a target for Manchester United. Obviously, you know, reports were coming out, you know, saying that Man United have been in talks with Juventus for like over the month, over the potential move for Paul Dybala, because recently Paul Dybala's agent and his brother said that Paul Dybala, you know, wants to leave Juventus this summer, or could leave Juventus this summer. As I said, I've got strong reservations about Paul Dybala. You know, obviously we would identify him as a replacement for Romelu Lukaku. I think Paul Dybala, how old is he? He's 25, 26 years of age, so he is in his prime. He has demonstrated in his 4-year period with Juventus, you know, that he can score goals and that he can lead the lines. He had enjoyed difficult time last season because he was in and out of the squad, you know, since obviously Cristiano Ronaldo's arrival at Juventus last summer. You know, Paul Dybala has found himself surplus to requirements, and this is where the main factor reason why he has been subjected to quite a bit of transfer speculation, and he has been linked with a move to Old Trafford. But I've got reservations about him, you know, when it comes to his defensive abilities. You know, when it comes to his defensive abilities, you know, some of his touches are concerned. But if he was to come to Manchester United and score goals whilst he was adapting other areas of his game, you know, that would be good indeed. But in his 4 years with Juventus, I think he's won 4 Serie A's and 3 Coppa and Italians, as you know, Paulo Dybala. But I think he's 25 or 26 years of age. But partly did say that we're one of the players that Juventus willing to offer. Also mentioned Alexandro. Obviously, Alexandro, I don't really know much about Alexandro. I think Alexandro, to be quite fair, I think he was linked with Chelsea, was he, a couple of years ago. I think Man United have inquired about his services quite a few times in the past. So he did say they are the 2 players Juventus were willing to offer to get Paul Pogba. But yeah, so I think now he could be possibly, you know, staying at Manchester United. But if he doesn't stay at Manchester United, he will definitely make the move to Real Madrid. But we mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first 3 months as interim manager, because Paul Pogba exceeded expectation levels, just like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, exceeded expectation levels. But Paul Pogba was in scintillating form in that 3-month period, and mainly we saw the best of Paul Pogba, you know, when you know, Ander Herrera was playing. So that just emphasises how much of an impact, you know, Ander Herrera did make, because he freed up Pogba. Pogba was scoring goals, Pogba was providing and all that. And yeah, and I think, you know, Paul Pogba is going to be, I don't know, he could now stay at Manchester United. Some Man United fans will want him to leave, you know, some Man United fans will want him to stay, but from his own perspective, he wants to leave the club, because maybe Paul Pogba wants to be, you know, being Champions League football, you know, wants to be challenging, you know, wants to be winning trophies, and obviously this is something that Manchester United, of course, cannot offer him. So yeah. So that's the latest news about that. And as I have been updating you recently, about what's going on with Philippe Coutinho from Barcelona. Now, it is saying that Chelsea have identified Philippe Coutinho as their number one target to replace Eden Hazard. Now, it's also said that Manchester United have inquired about Philippe Coutinho's services. Now, I wouldn't want Philippe Coutinho at Manchester United because obviously, he's a former Liverpool player. Since he's gone to Barcelona, he hasn't exceeded expectation levels, and he obviously hasn't replicated, what he did at Liverpool in his 5 years there. So he hasn't at Barcelona. He hasn't replicated, what he did at Liverpool. Philippe Coutinho. Potentially, I think Philippe Coutinho wants a change of scenery, and I think he wants to rejuvenate his career. So I think he is open to making a return back to the Premier League. Is Coutinho. I think Barcelona are open to selling Philippe Coutinho, but I still think Barcelona are looking to recoup the majority of the £142 million they did pay for him for Liverpool 16 months ago. I can't see Barcelona to be quite honest, getting around £100 million of Philippe Coutinho. Based on his poor performances, since he has gone to Barcelona, because he has been so inconsistent for Barcelona. I think Barcelona are looking to get around £88 million for him, but I don't think anyone's willing to pay up to £88 million for him. But Chelsea reportedly, in for him, because obviously, Eden Hazard set to complete his move to Real Madrid next week. Depending on Chelsea, though, they've got they've got a transfer ban there, can't do any transfer activity in the next couple of windows. But if lest their transfer ban, of course, gets overturned, I do not know. But it says Chelsea are in for Coutinho, because Coutinho can play as an attacking mid. He can also play as a winner. Can Philippe Coutinho. I think he has been playing primarily as a winner, for Barcelona, alongside Messi and Suarez and all that. But he's been so inconsistent for Barcelona. But I wouldn't want him at Manchester United, like I said. I heard the rumours about this back in January, saying that Man United had been in negotiations with his representatives over the possible move to Old Trafford. But Coutinho is actually, the third most expensive player in world football, behind Neymar and Mbappe, because Barcelona paid £142 million for him. But going back to when he was at Liverpool, he was really, really good at Liverpool. He did have 5 great years there with Liverpool. But he hasn't done what he did at Liverpool at Barcelona. I think also when he was younger, he played under Mauricio Pochettino, I think because he had a loan spell with Espanyol, and he initially began his career with Inter Milan, did Coutinho. So basically, Liverpool got him from next to now. I think Liverpool only paid around £8.5 million for his services. So looking at it financially, Liverpool made a huge profit on the player when they did sell him to Barcelona. And now maybe Coutinho may regret that he did leave Liverpool, of course. Because he did really well for Liverpool, and since he's gone to Barcelona, he has been so inconsistent. But like I said, I wouldn't want him at Manchester United. He's 26 years of age. He's nearly 27 now. He's in his prime still. He's still got a lot of development in him. But I wouldn't want Coutinho at Manchester United, even though we have made contact with Barcelona. Yet again, it says Chelsea have also made contact with Barcelona, but I wouldn't want him at Manchester United. Now, some latest news to give you an update on in regard to Toby Alderwhield from Tottenham. Now, reports are coming out saying that Manchester United are set to make a decision next week on the transfer of Toby Alderwhield. So I think the Manchester United board are set to make a decision next week. But, looking at it from a financial point of view, he's a very, very cheap alternative, is Toby Alderwhield. And obviously, he's going to substantially cost you a lot less than Koulibaly. He's going to substantially cost you a lot less than Harry Maguire. He's going to substantially cost you less than, De Ligt and all that. So he is a cheap alternative, is Toby Alderweireld. But I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is an admirer of the player, but I don't think I think from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's perspective, he wouldn't be the right solution for Manchester United, because he's not intending on bringing short-term players to the club. And obviously, Alderweireld is aging up now. He's 30 years of age. But I still believe Alderweireld would be a great upgrade in our defence of what we've currently already got. He'd be a great upgrade in our defence. He knows about the Premier League. He's Premier League proven. I think he's been at Tottenham 4 years as Alderweireld, and he had become an integral part of their team. Don't get me wrong now, I've got reservations about Alderweireld. He has lost that yard of pace. Like I said, he is aging up, but he knows about the Premier League very, very well. Obviously, last summer, Manchester United were heavily linked to him, but I think last summer, Tottenham wanted around £68 million, and obviously, Manchester United were reluctant to pay that. But obviously, back in January of this year, Tottenham activated a 12-month extension on his contract. Obviously, because he's obviously based based on his refusal to sign a new contract, and included this 25 million release clause. So he is available for 25 million. Is Toby Alderwhield. So maybe Manchester United, should go in there for Alderweireld. Maybe we should go in there for him, because I do believe he would be a good upgrade in our defence. We need someone that can go alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. I always said, I think we need two central defenders, to be quite honest with you, because obviously I know we've got Lindelof. He dramatically improved last season, inconsistent in his first season, but dramatically improved last season. Victor Lindelof for Manchester United. I think the likes of Smalling and Jones are not good enough for Manchester United, but I think now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is, willing to stick with the likes of Bay, Bay, Smalling and Jones, and I think he's actually focusing on other areas the squad is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer than that central defensive area. But that central defensive area is one of the areas where Manchester United have got to definitely strengthen up. And talking about Smalling and Jones, are not good enough to represent Manchester United. They've both been long-term players at the club. It was a bad mistake for Manchester United, giving them new long-term contracts. So they shouldn't be here next season, but we do know they're going to be here next season. In regards to Eric Bay, I think he's got great potential, Eric Bay, but the problem with Eric Bay is, I think, based on his fallout under managers and his injuries he has sustained, I think it's had a really bad effect on his Manchester United career. So I think we need to basically get rid of Eric Bay. Rojo, I think he's going anyways. Marcus Rojo, Darmian, he's going. So an estimated guess we can get around 25 or 30 million pounds, for Matteo Darmian and Marcus Rojo. Even though Sky recently reported that Marcus Rojo, does want to stay at Manchester United, but I think we're willing to get rid of them both. So we do know Matthias de Ligt, he's been widely spoken about, throughout the course of this throughout the course of this window so far. Now, I really, really like Matthias de Ligt, as you all know. I think the vast majority of Manchester United fans, do like Matthias de Ligt. So there has been positive stories, coming out about Matthias de Ligt, saying that, Manchester United now could be emerged as front runners, to currently get a deal over the line for the player. So there was major development that came out around the Matthias de Ligt deal. Around the Matthias de Ligt deal the other day. So it did potentially say that Matthias de Ligt had two transfer demands. So it did say the first demand, obviously, he was requiring more money. The second demand, he wants a guaranteed first team football, when deciding on his next club. And obviously, these are two demands Manchester United can meet, because obviously it did say Manchester United, willing to meet his wage, willing to meet what de Ligt's demanding, willing to meet what his Adrian Rabiot is demanding, and it obviously, we can assure him first team football. So Man United said, we're willing to outbid any other club for his services. Obviously, we do know quite a few teams have inquired about his services. It's been looking likely in the last couple of months that Barcelona have been in the ascendancy to get a deal over the line for Matthias de Ligt. It's been looking likely, Barcelona have been in the ascendancy, to get a deal over the line for Matthias de Ligt. But reportedly, it did say talks between de Ligt and Barcelona currently come to a conclusion, because obviously, they couldn't come to an agreement on the terms, because Barcelona were not willing to meet, what de Ligt was demanding, what his agent Rabiot was demanding. So I think it initially said that Barcelona adopted him out of the race, but it only came out the other week saying that, he was set to join Barcelona. This came from Sky Sports, and I think he made an admission saying that his preferred destination is Barcelona, because obviously maybe he wants to reunite with his current teammate Frankie de Jong. So also City have inquired about his services, because they want a replacement for Company. Obviously, Liverpool had inquired about his services. It also said PSG have been in there for him. So there has been a host of clubs that have been linked with Matthias de Ligt. So I think it is actually very imminent that he's going to be leaving Ajax, but I still think it remains uncertain at the moment where he will be applying his trade next season. So it did reportedly say Man United are willing to offer him up to £350,000 a week. Obviously, that equates to almost £17 million a year. So potentially, if this was to process, this would make obviously Matthias de Ligt one of the highest paid players at Manchester United. Obviously, make him the highest paid teenager in world football, and I think he'd be a great addition to our squad. He'd dramatically improve us defensively. And initially, it did come out from Sky Sports, was it 4 or 5 days ago, saying that Manchester United had ruled out a move for him. Obviously, because I think we were too convinced that he was set to join Barcelona. So I think his future is up in the air at the moment. But only 19 years of age, still got a hell of a lot of development in him. And obviously, at some point in his career, he wants to take his career to the next level. Lille, and I think if he came to the Premier League, it would take his career to the next level. I think he would definitely succeed in the Premier League. So far he has spent the entirety of his career with Ajax. He's been at Ajax played since the age of 8, the age of 9, and he has flourished, fantastically well. And I think he made his senior debut at just the age of 16, so he has had 3 years worth of experience in Ajax's senior squad as Matthias de Ligt. But I do really like him a lot. So he has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation, and he has been widely spoken about. I think Ajax have had a really good season as well. Really good season Ajax have had, winning the domestic double for the first time in 17 years. Matthias de Ligt, captained them to that. Obviously winning the Eredivisie title for the first time in 5 years, and of course progressing to the Champions League semi-final. So Ajax have had a really good season. So de Ligt can leave Ajax on a high. There is still a slight chance that he could remain with Ajax for at least another season, but I think it's probably looking very likely that he will leave Ajax. Will Matthias de Ligt. But there has been a host of clubs in there for him. I think also Bayern Munich have inquired about his services. So yeah, there's been a lot of teams in for Matthias de Ligt. I think in terms of the transfer fees, he's going to probably cost you around 65 or 70 million pounds. But obviously it did say Manchester United put a bid in for him of around 70 million pounds. So I do believe there is a lot of credibility in these stories, regarding Matthias de Ligt. Obviously, we do know Manchester United need a right back. We need a replacement for Antonio Valencia, because we know Valencia is leaving the club. Obviously, we know that's definite, but I think it still remains uncertain where his next destination is. Is he going to be going to Ecuador? He can return to Ecuador. Is he going to be going to MLS? We don't know where he's going to be going. Is he going to be retiring? So we don't know where his next destination is going to be. Antonio Valencia's. So we do know Manchester United have been interested in quite a few right backs. I think we need a cover up for Ashley Young. We need we need an upgrade to Ashley Young, and we need a cover up for Diego Dalot. So we do know there's been a lot of talks about Wan-Bissaka, going on, because obviously, Wan-Bissaka has been one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets. Now, he's very young. Wan-Bissaka, 21 years of age. I think it came out last week saying that Man United had submitted a bid of around £25 million. Obviously, this figure is not going to be enough, to convince, Crystal Palace, to let him go, because I think the quoted fees around 60 or 70 million pounds that Crystal Palace want for Wan-Bissaka. He's British as well, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has expressed an interest in quite a few British players, and he's the upcoming future. He's Wan-Bissaka. He's been in Crystal Palace's senior squad now about 14 or 15 months as Wan-Bissaka, and he has become an integral part of their team, and he's predominantly a right back. I think when he was a lot younger he was a winner, but then obviously he got rotated as a right back, Wan-Bissaka. So I do really like him indeed. I think he's got 3 years left on his contract with Crystal Palace, and so I really like him. I do believe he's got all the abilities, to elevate Manchester United at least in the next 2 to 3 years. I think his defensive capabilities are very good. So I'd love, Manchester United to recommend Wan-Bissaka to come in. So he would be the perfect successor to Antonio Valencia. Obviously, we do know there's been talks of Meunier going on. It did say Manchester United were in for Thomas Meunier. Obviously, he can play in numerous positions, Thomas Meunier, but I think he is predominantly a right back. He's got goals in him. He's got assists in him. I think now Arsenal have inquired about Thomas Meunier's services. How long has he got left in his contract? It is about 11 or 12 months left on his deal, Thomas Meunier. Highly experienced as well, how old is he? Is he 27 28 years of age, Thomas Meunier? I think he's been at PSG now over there 3 years, and he has done really well as Meunier. So I'd love him at Manchester United as a right back. I think he'd be really good. But he says also Arsenal have inquired about his services. And as I've been updating you in the last couple of days in regards to Nicolas Pepe, of course, Nicolas Pepe from Lille. Now, obviously, good news came out about him, was it a week or two ago, saying that, the Lille chairman has confirmed that Nicolas Pepe will be leaving Lille this summer. His next destination, remains uncertain, because he has been in quite a few clubs been in there for him. But recent reports have come out saying that Manchester United and Liverpool have opened up negotiations, to currently sign Nicolas Pepe. It does say Man United have been in negotiations with Lille, to try and currently sign Nicolas Pepe. I think the quoted fees between 60 or 70 million pounds, that Lille would demand if they were willing to let him go. So I think they value him initially at around 70 million pounds. But I like Nicolas Pepe a lot. Obviously, so far he has spent the entirety of his career in France. He has spent the entirety of his career in France. as Nicolas Pepe. Obviously, he's had 2 years with Lille and he has become an integral part of their team. And obviously, he's the obvious candidate, you know, for the right win for Manchester United, because obviously, you know, he's primarily a winner, but he's obviously got goals in him, he's got assists in him, and I like him a lot. And I think, you know, he'd exceed expectation levels in the Premier League, but if he comes to the Premier League, he would, you know, definitely, you know, take his career to the next level. I think he's still under contract with Lille until 2022. So quite a few teams have been in there for the player. I think also he said Arsenal I think quite about his services. I think Arsenal have been in for him in the last couple of months. I think also Bayern Munich, PSG, Real Madrid have also, you know, been in there for Nicolas Pepe. But yeah, I do really like him, and I do believe he would be a great addition to the squad. I think he'd blend in very, very well alongside the likes of Rashford and Martial in our front line, you know, with Nicolas Pepe. So obviously, you know, there has been a lot of talks about him going on. But like I said, another problem with Manchester United, you know, we have let far too many players' contracts run down. Obviously, you know, Rashford's in the final year of V's deal. It's obviously looking very imminent that Juan Mata's going to be leaving the club when his contract comes to an end, because he's coming to an end of his contract. I think I haven't read much up about Juan Mata lately. I think it did say, you know, the latest team to be interested in was Newcastle. You know, Rafael Benitez was set, you know, he said Rafael Benitez, you know, he's keen on signing, you know, Juan Mata, because obviously Rafael Benitez may be keen on reuniting with him, because obviously, you know, Juan Mata played under Rafael Benitez, you know, during his days with Chelsea when he was younger. Obviously, I think Newcastle have got new owners coming in. I read something up about, I didn't read the full article. They've got new owners, something like that, of Newcastle, you know, coming in. But yeah, one of the targets reportedly is Juan Mata, according to what I last read about the story about what's going on with Mata. I think also Barcelona have been in talks, you know, to get Juan Mata on a free transfer. But Juan Mata's been a great servant in the Premier League, and I'd love him to spend at least another season with Manchester United. I think Man United have, you know, are willing to offer him a 1-year extension, or is it a 2-year extension? But I think we've failed to agree a contract extension for him. But we're obviously not going to be willing to offer him a long-term contract, because obviously he's 31 years of age now. He has lost that yard of pace, and initially doesn't even get in the squad now. Hardly. Juan Mata is obviously a squad player now at Manchester United. But yeah, being a great servant in the Premier League, you know, he's been at United 5 years. In total, he's been in the Premier League 8 years, of course, including his 2.5, 3 years he had with Chelsea when he was younger. But I think for Manchester United, he has made over 200 appearances in all competitions as Juan Mata. I think he scored about 50-odd goals, so he has been a fantastic servant for the club. Like I said, De Gea is in the final year V's deal. It's looking likely, you know, that De Gea is going to be going. I don't think it's in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans to actually, you know, buy a goalkeeper to replace De Gea. I think we are willing to promote Sergio Romero as our number one goalkeeper for next season. So that's been a problem with Manchester United as well. You know, we've let far too many players' contracts run down. I do agree that we need a structural change at the club, and that's obviously, you know, getting a director of football in before the start of next season. That is very, very essential indeed. And there has been quite a few candidate names mentioned for that director's role. But it would be ideal to recommend someone who knows about the club, someone who, of course, has got the experience. And yes, I think we should be able to resolve that problem before the start of next season by getting a director of football in. But there is problems at Manchester United at the moment. You know, these cultural problems at the club, and there's lots to sort out. And this is why I did say, you know, we need a overall this summer. We've got to get our number one targets. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still believes we can attract players to the highest level, even though we're not in a Champions League football for next season. So it is going to be difficult for us to get the players we want, because Champions League football is always very essential. Obviously, you know, we can't currently, you know, offer that. But like I said, none of this squad's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So obviously, you know, we're still in the process of rebuilding. Like I said, he's inheriting a lot of Jose Mourinho's players. You know, he's inheriting, you know, Van Gaal's players. You know, Matt Hazard from the David Moyes era. There's still 4 or 5 players here from the Alex Ferguson era that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, was inheriting. In terms of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he hasn't really got the experience of managing, you know, not to the highest level. But I won't be critical of him yet. You know, we've got to give him the summer to currently spend. Got to give him, you know, the current somewhere to spend. But we do know our first signing is obviously not going to be Daniel James. Obviously, you know, Daniel James is set to be announced sometime this week, which is very, very good news. Obviously, as you all know, initial fee of around £15 million has been agreed for Daniel James. So that's very, very good indeed. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing to my channel as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching, guys.